This is a Michal AM transistor radio. I can't find any information on this basically at all. I think it was made in the 70s. Was there like I don't know if, it has a model there, MP-110. So I didn't see that earlier, but I found another one on eBay, but I can't find anything on Radio Museum or just anything. So I got this in a lot on eBay. Looks to be in pretty darn good shape. Nice little glass window here. I don't think it has. Oh, it does have a headphone jack. Okay, that's always fun. There's no schematic. And yeah, this came in a lot. I don't know if I said that I bought a while back, and I kind of forgot I had it, but I've got some more radios kind of that I'm bidding on and on the way and stuff, so I'm kind of picking through, and I found a real tone that had a schematic. I decided to fix it, but this has got silicon transistors, even though it doesn't have a schematic, so I thought I might have a better shot at it. I don't know. But I looked at it. I haven't powered it on or anything, but I did look at it. And you've got a converter here. And then we've got first IF. And then this would be the first audio. And then audio output. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, it can't. There's only 3 of these coils, so I don't think it could have a second IF. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 transistors, so it may not be much of a performer. But physically, it looks to be in good shape. I mean, it doesn't look to be that old, really, but who knows? The volume pot is real stiff, so I worked it a little bit, and not too much, but the tuning capacitor feels okay. So yeah, I think I'll hook it up through grain of wheat bulb and see if it makes any sound. All right, let's see what she'll do or won't do. Now, let me turn this on. I always forget this thing. The interference is terrible. Whoa. Something's... Oh, sorry. Well, I seen the grain of wheat bulb come on, and I seen this move, but I think I had a short down here, maybe, for... I guess that's what was going on. And I just seen it for a split second. There's with the volume up.
Have shows from Disneyland all day Monday. They're not letting us do a radio show at midnight local time from Disneyland.
I'm just saying, like, I could have made the trip to Disney.
On Main Street.
It's dark here. I mean, it's
Transistor sledge, Q buyers.
it's like 10 o'clock at night.
Dollars who they expected to be their bell cow gets as it. Inflammatory statements made on game night last night. First of all, we let Usher an apology, and second of all, you don't have to worry about Q Myers. Yeah, I can't front. I'm like, this is a bold strategy.
Like, now they doing a good job looking at Q.
So that's as loud as it gets, which isn't. It's not very loud, but we're going through the grain of wheat, but it's not even really on. Yeah, I don't know if it should be louder than that or not. The grain of wheat was limiting the current, even though the bulb wasn't really coming on. This thing is screaming loud.
I had people calling from all over the world at like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was awesome. No, I'm
But
yeah. Trivia question for all.
And you might say, well, look, I can't afford an ounce of gold. It's $5,000 or whatever it is. But you don't have to buy an ounce of gold either. You can buy fractions of an ounce of gold. Or you can buy silver.
yeah, that's pretty neat. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I guess doesn't look like this is going to turn into be a repair video. But we'll find something. We'll find an extracurricular activity to do. Something. But just looking at the electrolytics, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not even really open because it seems to be performing pretty well. As good as I would expect with 1IF, I guess. There's only 2 electrolytics. So I'm assuming one's going to be an audio decoupling and one's probably going to be for an AVC, if it even has AVC. I mean, who knows? I wonder, I think even the 1IFs generally do have that. But I'll get ready to pull one of these out and we'll take a look at that. So I thought of something that would be kind of fun to do since the radio works, and I think, yeah, there's only a couple electrolytics to change. Last radio, or a couple radios ago, I changed one of these converter transistors, and it was this same style. It was this dome-looking early silicon style, and it had a really low HFE, and I've had a couple other of these out in other radios, and they all had low HFEs, and I don't know if they were, I checked the number on it and I couldn't find anything, and so I don't know if they originally just had that poor of an HFE, or if these things just really do go bad. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, are these things just, or maybe they're just something that you just want to change because they suck? Do they age kind of like electrolytics or something? Do they just, when they get so old, do they just have poor betas? Or I don't know. But I just thought this would be a good opportunity to experiment because the radio works. So, and another thing I thought that would be kind of cool, I got this big bag of transistors. Here's the rest of them. I got these from like eBay or something like a long time ago and never really used too many of them. This was kind of when I was just kind of figuring out, like, don't buy stuff like this from eBay. And so I just kind of assume they're all pretty much fake, and they're probably all the same transistor or something to that effect. But I thought it would be kind of interesting to see what would happen if we replaced it with something that's got quite a bit of gain. Because my concern in the one that I did replace that with the 2N3904, I think it had an HFE of a little over 100, if I remember right, and it was a genuine real deal. I think it was an on semi or NEC or something. You know, it's a good quality. I got it from like Mouser or LCSC or something, and it's a name brand. But the radio didn't seem to have any ill effects. It worked fine, if not better than before. But if you get the gain too high on this circuit, then theoretically any oscillator, if the gain is too high, you'll shut it down. It also, if the gain is too low, you would shut it down. But going from 25 to 100 that's a factor of 4. That's a big difference in gain. So this one is 2N5551, and I think they were testing right a little over 100, 130, I think. This is supposed to be, I think it's a small signal general purpose. This one I think is specifically small signal S9104, and I tested this thing, and I only tested one, but it had a beta of 394. So if that plays out, these things are hot. And what little I understand about this is in the converter section, what you're really getting is a lot of gain, because you've got this unamplified tank circuit between the tuning capacitor and the antenna coil, and so you need a lot of gain up front to help. And you're getting gain in your IF sections, but a lot of the gain I think comes from the beginning. And my understanding is that this first coil is not, it's pretty wide, so you don't get a lot of filtering until you get, or I'm sorry, the frequency, the kind of the range of that you would tune in from that front end circuit is maybe it's like 40 or 50 kilohertz. And then when you go to the IF, it cuts that maybe in half. And then I think if it's got a second IF, it cuts it down just kind of like a little bit more. So you're getting some amplification through the IFs, but it's actually probably more the selectivity that you're getting. So you would think, I mean, and I know too much of any good thing ruins the good thing, but you would think having more gain up here would kind of be better to some extent. So again, it's just an experiment. I mean, so I don't even know if I really want to mess with putting this one in, because I mean, last one, again, I put in the 2N3904 and it was pretty much the same thing. It just seemed to work the same. So that's not like extreme enough to really be able to tell any difference. And unless I'm mistaken, it's really hard to find any modern BJT. I think there's some maybe that I'd probably have to order something that do have low betas of maybe like 75 or something, but most of them are in definitely 100 or better. So I don't think you could, if you needed to replace one of these with something with a very similar beta of like 25, you would be in a pickle. And I'm doubtful that they had that low. I mean, a lot of germaniums new would have had better HFE than that. So anyway, we'll experiment with that. But to make it a fair fight, I think it makes sense to replace those capacitors first, because we really want to be able to hear any minor differences. So I'm going to replace the caps first, see how that goes, and then we'll kind of do some experimenting with putting this real hot transistor in there, and we'll hook the scope up and kind of see Also, because theoretically the capacitance of this could be slightly different, and so it could change the oscillator speed. So if that's the case, I would like to know it. And so I'll hook the scope up before and after and take a screenshot so that we can compare and see what the wave, what it looks like, what the voltage, like peak to peak and RMS, and then we can also check the oscillator speed. And to the way I'm going to do that is real scientifically. Is I'll just take the tuning capacitor and I'll roll it all the way down and take a measurement, and then I'll roll it all the way up and take a measurement, because that way I know that it's in the same spot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a way to really do that. So, but yeah, we'll get these caps out and see what they look like before we get into the fun stuff. That one's supposed to be a 30, and yeah, it's testing 35. Pretty low ESR and V-loss too. So, I mean, that's not bad at all. I didn't figure the capacitors were too bad in it, but I'll go ahead and replace this one. This one's in worse shape. It's not like it wouldn't work, but it's supposed to be a 30. Testing 62, but the ESR is not too bad. It's a little bit leaky, but definitely obviously wasn't hurting anything. Let's kind of give us a baseline of what it sounds like with that with the capacitors replaced. I just want to do it this way.
Get more for less with Buffalo Wild Wings. BOGO boneless deal. Buy one and get one free. Dine in and carry out available only at... The world don't try to into America this present.
I mean, it's not dark here yet. Picking up some interference from the furnace probably. But it's not really all that sensitive. I think it does seem like even the strong stations aren't really that great, but I mean, that might be expected with a radio like this. But now that we've done our chores, and by the way, so the first capacitor that I changed, which was this one, I believe that's for decoupling, or I'm sorry, yeah, decoupling audio, and I believe this is for AGC would be my guess. But yeah, we'll go ahead and pull that. Well, let's put the scope on it, and then we'll pull the transistor. So I found something that was wrong from the factory. Don't know how much of a problem it was causing, but this Litz wire it looks like it was, so this is one leg of the transistor I'm about to pull. This is one leg, and this is one leg. So, and this, you can see there's solder all over that Litz wire, and it was just practically stuck there. I don't think that's on purpose. And then the end of it, which I've already kind of pulled it away, so I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but the end of the Litz wire where they cut it off was all the way over. I mean, it was making contact with that leg right there, so I'm surprised that wasn't causing any problems. And that's going to be real careful there when I solder that back. The same thing I did before, I made myself a little map, and it looks like this is going to be a PNP transistor, because I've got 5.44 on one, 4.97 on the other, which is the difference there would be enough to bias it. And I didn't write it down, but I had 2 millivolts on the other pin. So I think it's a PNP, but theoretically, since it's still a good transistor, when we get it out, we can test that theory. It is an NPN transistor, but the beta is testing 0. And the bias voltage, well, it's shifted quite a bit here. It was showing 600 and something millivolts. But every time I tested it, I've taken it in and out, it showed no beta, a beta of 0. These things it's like they're bad even when they're good. And I tested it, just because I didn't trust this, says it's NPN, I did the diode check, and assuming the base is in the middle, it checks good, and it has no reverse breakdown voltage either. So I don't know. I mean, obviously the radio was working, but I'm starting to believe these things do suck. Well, this one's got an HFE of 290, so theoretically should be a lot better than what was in there, but hopefully it's not too much gain. So I forgot to hook up my scope before I pulled the transistor out, and my battery was going dead, so I had to hook up. This is, other than robbing one out of a smoke detector, I have this rechargeable, which I've tried on another radio, and it's USB rechargeable. It's very noisy, very noisy. The other radio wouldn't even work with it. It's nothing but static. But this one, it works, but I think it's ruining some of the reception. But the stations it does pick up, man, they're hot. And the volume sounds, well, I bumped the tuner. That's volume all the way up. So yeah, I was tempted to pull that transistor out and put a 2N3906 in, but I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, it's working the way it is, so I don't think I want to do it. And I know the reception would be better if it had a hot 9-volt battery and not one of these. This one, it got down to 7.6 volts. It's pretty low. The volume was getting really low, but it didn't have as much background static. The stations were clear. They were just, and it was getting to the point where it was starting to kind of like AC bias almost. It was real choppy sounding. So this isn't an ideal way to test things with this battery. But yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that transistor in there. One of the traces for the base actually kind of started to lift, or did lift on me. So I kind of want to just not mess with it anymore. Sometimes you just got to know when to leave something alone, I guess. But, well, hopefully that was an interesting experiment. I know it was for me. And honestly, I mean, a gain of 300 versus that other transistor was just absolutely pitiful. Like, you would think that might shut the oscillator down, or we would see some big difference. And I turned this coil, I turned it in like an eighth of a turn each way, and then I ended up putting it back because it seemed to be exactly where it needed to be just by my ear. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like it really changed the oscillator speed very much, or in any way that would really matter. So that was a fun experiment. So I'm gonna get her put back together. So I got the smoke detector battery in it.
Isaiah made 6 of
and
his
the
11
audio
shot
is
attempts, 5 of 10
outstanding.
from beyond the arc. He also had 3 rebounds and 3 assists and was a +9 in those 24 minutes. Isaiah has started to pick it up again over the last couple.
It's not clipping.
Point shots.
The collapse of Soviet communism and the
I mean, it's really not that sensitive, though.
On Friday evening and then carry over many actions in
turmoil.
I'm just kind of wondering, like, I mean, it seems kind of like it's sort of there's not much static between stations, but picks up all the local stations and it picks them. I mean, it's screaming. Like, this thing is, when you really dial it in, man, it is loud and clear, very clear audio. So, and it definitely wasn't doing that before. I had no idea that transistor was actually bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to come back out here tomorrow and replace this transistor. I think this is going to be for the pre-driver for the audio, and I'm thinking this is the IF, and I'm wanting the audio. I mean, I don't think it's coming through on the video all that well, but it is really, I mean, this thing has got an audio amp in it. I can't believe it's that loud and clear. It really, really sounds good. And like, even with the volume maxed, it's like it's not really distorted even. It just and this smoke detector battery is like that, or it was not that hot. I mean, I think it was like 8.4 volts maybe. So, or maybe it was 8.6, but it's not that new. But I mean, this is just more of an experiment, really, because I'm curious about these dome style transistors. I mean, they really suck that bad. And so if I replace that one, instead of going crazy and putting in one with a beta of 300, I'll probably just put a 2904. I thought I was running out of 2904s as my little quick parts bin inside. I had, oh gosh. Well, this makes for great video, doesn't it? Okay, well, oh, here they are. It's 2904s. 22 and 39, or yeah, 3904X. Who makes these? I don't know what brand this is, but anyway, I thought I was out, but I found these, and I was looking. All my parts are sorted, but I had some that there was just a handful of unsorted parts for whatever reason, and I was looking for some capacitors, and I found them. So I thought you can't run out of 2N3904s. That's some kind of rule, like golden rule with electronics that you can't break, right? I thought, I have hundreds of them in surface mount, but I thought I was out of these. Because if I take one out and play with it on a breadboard or something, I'll usually just throw it away because they're so cheap. But I thought I had ordered 100 at one time, and maybe I did, but they're gone. So, and I've actually used them in projects too. But yeah, I think we'll come back out here tomorrow evening and give that a go. All right, I pulled first IF transistor out, and it's actually not bad at all. It's actually good, really good. Well, pretty darn good. Beta's excellent. Everything's fine with it. It's an NPN2, So I guess they're not always bad, but man, I think that beta of the other one that I found that was only 20 something, that's probably signals that they're bad. I'll bet these were more like modern silicons with the amount of gain that you would typically get. But I was debating on putting a 2N3904, but I think I'm going to go back with one of these. Yeah, this is what I'm going to put back in there. A beta of 315. Yeah. I've never wished for less horsepower before, so or a slower computer or whatever the case may be. So who knows? I mean, I can put the other one back in or swap it for a 2N3904 if this doesn't work out. It was just an experiment anyway. Man, I got to thinking, like, it was kind of like, I mean, should I do this to this poor radio? But, you know, I paid around, with shipping and handling it, I paid the equivalent of about $5 for this radio. So I'm going to get my $5 worth of learning out of it. So I got that transistor in there. It might be, and I mean maybe, a little bit more sensitive. But I don't.
Let's pump the brakes.
Well, I'm worshiping this right now. Since
I don't really know that I could make that claim.
To match your
I mean, wouldn't really be surprised if this thing kind of needed an alignment or something. And I've got a signal generator and a spectrum analyzer on the way, so be able to do some alignments pretty soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I don't know. It's picking up all the strong stations real well, but it's dark here and it's not really getting much else. But I mean, it's only got one IF and probably wouldn't do a lot better than that anyway. But that when I changed that transistor, the thing just went dead quiet, and I couldn't get any voltage around on the base of the transistor. So I was like, "What happened? Did I short something out?" And long story short, there was a trace that was really close to one of the other traces, and I thought that I lifted a tiny part of it and I bridged them over. And what it really boiled down to was that trace is one of the pins on this this IF can here. Oh, sorry, this IF can, and it just wasn't. It doesn't go to anything. It just. I guess it's grounded to the can, but they never connected it to ground on the backside. It was just so the pin was soldered. There was a trace there, but nothing was connected to it. And anyway, so that caused the short. Lucky I didn't hurt anything. And normally what I do when I'm working on these, before I solder on an area, and actually usually when I open up the radio, I start taking pictures. And then when I get this out, I take pictures on both sides. And then when I get ready to solder in an area, I take my microscope and I just click the picture button in Windows and let it basically save all those pictures to the camera roll. And then that way, if I can't remember how the traces went or which one was connected to what, I can go back and look at it. In this case, I did not do that. I mean, I don't know why. I always remember to do it, and I didn't do it this time. And I'm really lucky that I figured it out because it really wasn't that obvious. So, but yeah, it's working again, and I'm kind of surprised. I thought that other transistor would be worse than that, but I guess they're not all bad. I mean, but they're definitely suspect because out of the 3 I've pulled in the past few days, 2 were pretty crappy. So I would say that they're probably not the best thing. So if you think that one's bad, there's a good chance it probably is. But I'm going to put this back together and we'll listen to it for a minute. So I do think the alignment could have been off just a little bit.
Because with one decision, you can make your resolution a reality.
Picture a whole team.
The
Wait, how about a resolution? Injured heroes to live independent lives through the fact.
So what I did was I took a picture of the IF cans, and the one at the top, the converter one, it was I mean, I tried to move it and it was kind of already in the best spot, and it just doing it by ear, again, not very scientific. But the other two, the one for the first IF and the detector, I had to turn them quite a ways. Well, not a lot, but I would say about a quarter of a turn, and really started to kind of make a difference. You can hear there's actually some static between stations now, where before it was just kind of dead until you rolled on a station.
I don't feel like being a pastor. I don't feel like doing anything. Maybe you can.
Lively Beer Works Tap Room. Proud sponsors of.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix
So
their
yeah,
IRS problems.
I mean, I think that's as good as you could probably get it. I mean, again, with a signal generator and or a spectrum analyzer in a proper alignment, I think it might be a little better, but I don't think you would improve it much.
Realize that the first 15 minutes is not fluff time. It's when we sing in adoration to God. So coming here not on time, but 5 to 10 minutes early to interact and maybe share what's going on and